The Secrets of Stargate is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, Episode 21.
Janet West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
All right, here we go. We are about to try to make a connection.
All we gotta do is bust out of here, commandeer the ship, and fly on home.
Indeed. You say that a lot.
I know that this could be dangerous. But this is our job, right? It's what we signed on to do.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
Hi, I'm Jack Baruzzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Sticha. Hi, Father.
How's it going, Jack?
It's going well. And Lisa Jones.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs.
Hi, Jack.
All right, I hate to do this to y'all, but today we're gonna start off talking about politics.
Well, as my T-shirt says, politics ruins everything. So we're gonna ruin this episode right off the bat, huh?
Yep.
I hate it when my favorite podcasts start talking about politics. It's like, just stick to entertaining me. I don't want to hear it.
So did you want to give a quick summary of that clip show?
Quick summary. Non-interventionist and fiscal hawk, Senator Kinsey, pays a visit to Stargate Command. He is concerned about the $7.4 billion a year that the program is costing the U.S. government. And so he is coming to, at the request of the president, to review the mission reports from SG-1 and to see if there's some reason why he should spare the program, as he's in charge of a high-ranking committee that can shut it down. In the end, he's not convinced, and the Stargate program is shut down.
Big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, we're treated to some flashbacks from previous episodes that are rather long and drawn out and don't really catch you up on much of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very much the classic 90s clip episode, where, if you remember those, that every series had them, at some point there would be a clip episode. This was it. So.
Yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about there. But that episode does pretty much roll right into the season 1 finale within the Serpent's grasp. And what we're going to do today for this episode is we're going to talk about that episode along with the second episode, or the first episode of the second season, The Serpent's Lair. And so we'll break for that, but we'll come back to that next week.
I do want to kind of add though one great line from politics. And it's not so much a great line from politics, but it's a great line in response to it. So Kinsey is of course, he's doubting that the Goa'uld are coming. And if they do, we can fight them off because they're not really gods and there's only one real god. And he wouldn't let this happen. And it's like, that's the wrong line. See, the line you need is from Captain America. There's only one god, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that. That's the much better line.
Oh, you reminded me. There is one line in this. I think it's one of my favorite lines in the entire show. And that's where Daniel Jackson is explaining how in the mirror universe, which we covered in our previous episode, Sam and Jack are engaged. And Jack goes, engaged? And Sam is like, it's theoretically possible. And Jack goes, it's against regulation.
Yeah.
And so for Jack, it's not about what's possible. It's, what's in and out of the code of conduct there.
Yeah. We do also get a reference to Independence Day, which is funny. He said, Daniel mentions that they could just fly up and destroy the ships with a computer virus. So That was good.
And it was the first time we meet Senator Kinsey, who, goodness, we get to know a whole lot more about later. And we see him many, many times. And he is quite the nemesis of the program.
Yeah. And at least in this episode, I mean, he does have some really good points. I mean, it's costing a fortune. There's nothing really to show for it. And it is opening up the Earth to possible alien attacks. And of course, he's mistaken about how imminent those attacks are. But in this one, he does have some good points. He's not written like a cartoonish supervillain, which he is in later episodes. He kind of slides into full on Mr. Burns villainy.
But of course, this is Ronnie Knox and his best slimy politician. You know, he does make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm your friend and I'm here to help you, and now I'm going to attack you constantly.
Yeah.
My other question about this episode is, how did they decide which clips? Because those are not the clips that I would have selected. And as one of y'all said, they were kind of long and didn't really, I mean, I guess they caught you up for the finale, but I don't know. Those were not the clips I would have selected.
Yeah, it was odd because I think at least a fourth or a little over, probably like a third of the runtime of the episode was new content, but the rest of it was padded out. But I don't know why they went to the trouble of doing that. Like, you're going to basically do a bottle episode. You might as well just set it in the conference room and have them talk about it. And that would have been a more interesting way to deal with that kind of issue.
Yeah. And like you said, Lisa, there's not a lot there that provides context to people who wouldn't have been able to, see the previous episodes if they were new to the show. It just, isn't it cool? We have these weapons and lots of people get shot on the show and things like that. And it doesn't really advance anything. And I think they could have written, the other half an hour or something. They could have written some new stuff for that.
Mm-hmm. Would have been a lot more interesting. And that's pretty much all there is to say about politics. So we can roll into talking about
something much more interesting.
Yes. And here's a quick summary of Within the Serpent's Grasp. The Stargate program has been shut down by Senator Kinsey, as previously discussed, and the SGC is in the process of being cleaned out. SG-1, seeking to prevent the alternate future that Daniel witnessed, disobeys orders and travels to the coordinates Daniel brought back from the mirror dimension. The team finds themselves on a Goa'uld mothership, part of an invasion force to destroy Earth. The team discovers that Skara is the host of Apophis's son, Chlorel. The team plants C4 on the ship and is able to capture Chlorel, but he is rescued by his Jaffa, and Jack is forced to kill him to prevent Daniel from being killed. Meanwhile, the Goa'uld fleet arrives in the solar system. And that's where we cut to be continued. Ominous music.
Yes.
Yep. Boom, boom, boom.
So yeah, I didn't really grow up in the era where you had to wait for the next season of a show, so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. A lot of like, Picard's been turned into a Borg, and I have to wait 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, it's of course it's worse now, because if you do watch it season by season, as they come out, a lot of these series now are only 10 to 12 episodes long, like Doctor Who, like the Star Treks. So you're waiting a year pretty much for the next season, if not longer.
Or 2 or 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like, they've gone to a format for most shows now where each season is kind of a self-contained arc. Like, you don't really get a lot of cliffhangers between seasons anymore, I feel like.
That's true. They tend to clean it all up, put a bow on it, and then they start something new the next year.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're all anthology shows now.
Yeah.
More or less.
This one ended in July. No, it ended in March, and then it started up again in July. So really, or June, I think it was. It really wasn't that long to wait. But, at the time, you're used to seeing those episodes one a week. There's no streaming. There's no watch it on demand unless you stuck your VHS and recorded it, right? So I don't know. It was a great cliffhanger. It really amped up the excitement. You couldn't wait for the next season to start.
And this is still a time when they did reruns. The series would end and then they would rerun the series, episodes from the series, especially as the series got longer.
Very exciting episode. And this kind of sets up, the Stargate formula of having, the exciting cliffhangers where there's lots of, gunplay and running through corridors and, twists and turns along the way. And this also, they would film the beginning and then the ending part back to back and then start production on the next season sometime later. Right. And so you'd always get these jarring things where like the first episode of the season would air, and then on the second episode, everybody's hair is different, and they look completely different.
Yeah. A bit of a time jump there.
And that's where sometimes, series will do. I think Battlestar Galactica did that once where it was like, they did the cliffhanger in the opening and then it was like 6 months later.
Yeah.
So that there was an excuse why there was change.
Yeah. That's one way to do it. We get introduced to a lot of new technology in this episode, which is fun. You can
Zat
see
guns.
the Zat guns,
Yep.
which seemed very inefficient, but that seems to be par for the course with gold weaponry.
Yeah. Well, you notice Jack always double tapped it though, so he didn't mess around with the stun. It's just like, you're done.
Yeah.
It's syndicated sci-fi. Like the very first weapon they have to introduce is a stun weapon, so your heroes aren't blasting away, killing people. It's the very first weapon they introduce on Atlantis is the Wraith stun beam and stuff. And of course, the Star Trek phasers. So,
Right, exactly. Although they do say that it causes excruciating pain, so you can horribly hurt someone.
Later on, it just kind of knocks them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there was some back and forth over the seasons how bad it really hurt them. Was it just knock them out? Was it painful? Was it not?
But I like the fact, first time is the stun, the second time is kill, and third time is disintegrate.
Yeah.
Video game logic.
Did y'all realize that they stopped doing that after about 4 seasons? I didn't realize that they stopped doing disintegrate. They just kind of got rid of it after that, which I found, online. But I'm gonna have to go back and think about it as we get that far and realize they just kind of let it go by the wayside.
Well, it's not like they disintegrate a lot. I mean, to begin with, we only see it about twice in this episode. So
yeah,
right.
And then later on, they can use it to disintegrate items that they don't want to leave lying around too. So, like in 1990, yep. Just zap it. I'm not sure how this is supposed to work.
Yeah. I want to know if there's a period between shots. If you go too long, does it reset itself? So if you shoot someone twice and then you shoot them 20 minutes later, is it still going to disintegrate them? How does that work?
They never really talk about it, but SG-1 gets zapped with this thing many times. So, and they don't die. So there must be some kind of reset point.
Yeah, where the energy dissipates or something like that.
Just enough where it's convenient.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also get to see a lot of the interiors of the gold ships. I like the design. It's almost it's bad Art Deco, but or kind of what's that? Remember that show on Nickelodeon back in the 90s, the Temple, the Temple Run show? What's it called? Legends of the Temple or whatever.
Yeah, I was more of a Double Dare kid myself.
Yeah, same here.
But there are a lot of physical challenges in this episode for the team, certainly. And we get introduced to what I thought was going to be a rover from the Prisoner, that little flying ball that actually turns out to be a communication device, which mercifully they don't really bring back too often.
You really don't hear much about it anymore after this.
Just looked like a big floating malted milk ball.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this offline, or talking about this in our chat. The lines changed when Jack first sees this, depending on what version of the video you're watching, whether it's the original Showtime broadcast or the syndicated broadcast. In the original Showtime broadcast, Jack looks at it and says, "Do you think it gets Showtime?" Of course, got to plug the people are paying the money. In the others, it's what, Cool TV?
He says, "Yeah, Cool TV." Yeah.
No, actually, I thought the line was Gold TV.
Gold TV?
Gold, yeah.
And I heard it as Cool, but on Hulu, the subtitles still say the Showtime lines. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So I've got
it on Netflix, and it said Showtime.
Yeah, and I've got the DVDs, and it has the Showtime line. So there's one of these changes in it. I think one of you was saying that it was that they actually recorded both at the same, they recorded one and then recorded the other. So it was two.
I read. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 different cuts of the episode or that scene, so they could have the syndicated version, not mention Showtime.
It wasn't a dub.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it was a different
smart.
take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Forward thinking, if you think about it. First season of a series, and they're like, we're going to get syndicated.
Yeah.
Let's do this twice.
Well, I think the plan originally was that it would broadcast syndication a year after Showtime. And I think, so I think it was being
That's
released.
True. They didn't wait for 100 episodes, did they?
No. That was the original plan, but that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first of our mini Wizard of Oz references for this episode, is the ball with the giant head appearing in it. And then, of course, you get the Winky guards running through the hallways going, and the music goes, oh, ee, oh, whoa, as they march. So It was not. I mean, I had to believe it was intentional just because the music cue is a little too on the nose there. But
Yeah,
That is funny.
yeah.
I do always wonder the same thing with the stormtroopers on the Death Star. Like, do people just get put in rotations? Like, all right, we're just going to march around in circles for an hour?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, they said they had different troops at different places. So, and by the way, lots of great hiding places in these ships.
Mhm.
Lots of little nooks and crannies you can crawl in, and no one will even see you.
I love it.
And Teal'c is implausibly aware of, or implausibly ignorant of,
Yes.
that this is a ship. It's not even, he gets to the end, he's like, I didn't want to say anything till I was absolutely sure. He's just like, I don't know, I've only been on death gliders before,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, it's funny. The first time around 20 years ago, I didn't really think about it. But this time around, I was like,
He was first prime. I mean, he had to fly on motherships and
Yeah.
Hatoks.
Well,
and
and
stuff before.
they did. I think they tried to explain it by there's a line where he says, "Oh, that gold transport ships fly at 10 times the speed of light," and of course, this flies much faster than that. So, and he says he's not familiar with this ship, so I don't know if it was like a new class of ship that he wasn't experienced with. I don't know. It doesn't.
but it looks seriously similar to Apophysis ship that we're going to be on in the next episode.
Yeah, it's just the
So-
same class, it looks like. You think he'd have experience with that?
And this time the ship has the priests and priestesses on it, which usually they don't from now on. Whenever you see a ship, it's just Jaffa Guard 1, Jaffa Guard 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also known as target practice.
Yeah.
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 We get to see Skara again for the first time since the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
He's now a Chlorel.
And fan favorite Ferretti, played by Brent State.
Ferretti.
Yeah. Doesn't
Yep.
do much, but it's always good to see Brent State
Well,
there.
he's head of SG2 now after Kowalski was killed. So
Mhm.
Sadly, it is the last time we see him.
Yep.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Oh,
They
he just
never-
doesn't
I
come
mean,
back.
No, he's referred to in a season 3 or season 4, but you don't see him ever again.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was an actor issue, but I don't know.
Yeah.
or it could be just SG2 became another one of those other teams that we never see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure when Andromeda started, but he was a main character on Andromeda for its first few seasons until the bat makeup he was wearing interfered with him.
Hmm.
He had an adverse reaction to it.
That sounds not fun.
Yeah, he played a cannibalistic bat priest.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched any of Andromeda, so I don't remember it.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan back in the day, so I
Yeah.
don't really.
Stay tuned for SQPN Secrets of Andromeda.
Yeah.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Secrets of all the other random
Yeah.
TV shows that are out there. Oh, wait, we've got one like that.
Yeah.
Secrets of movies and TV.
We should just do one that's specifically secrets of bad 90s sci-fi.
Oh, there's
That would be
lots.
so much fun, though.
Ooh,
wouldn't it?
Nightman. Yeah, we got to do Nightman.
So
The
many.
superhero who plays smooth jazz saxophone.
Nice.
Isn't that Duke Silver?
Oh, yeah. May have been who Duke Silver was based on.
Nice. um, but yeah, this really sets up that Earth is on the map
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
galaxy, and they're gonna have to start dealing with that.
Yep. Even if
Think
Kinsey
about
doesn't
all
want
the-
to. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So you think about all the tension they created in this episode, right? SGC is being closed, and the president can't help, doesn't want to help. Politics are involved, all that, right? You've got imminent Earth doom.
Mhm.
You have the SG-1 going off planet, trying to get off planet. They get off planet. It's just like so many things, and then they're
Yeah.
gonna die. Chlorel's gonna die. They set up so many things in this. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, and then they have the contingency plan of if they can't stop the ship, they're going to make the ship go boom.
Yeah.
C4 or 4C as somebody will call it next episode.
Yes.
Yes. We get a lot of action heroics from Daniel Jackson this episode. But I mean, the one thing that struck me is Carter, like there's a stunned Jaffa on the ground and Carter just like walks up and like doubles at some. Just
Yeah.
it's like he wasn't Just straight up murders him.
He wasn't going to hurt you.
No.
Yeah.
And we've established that these people are basically under duress to do this, but oh well.
You're not supposed to humanize the cannon fodder.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell that to Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, right. But well,
But yeah, there.
But I was gonna say, you talk Victor about how he turns an action hero. Like one point he's literally double wielding pistols. I mean, he's just going out there looking like the Wild West. Bam, 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 bam.
And next episode he has like an M16 and a 45, and I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Going all Rambo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm your worst nightmare.
Yeah, the design of these ships just seems kind of inefficient. They're very large. They got lots of big corridors and just a lot of wasted space. I never really, I guess it goes with the hubris, the Goa'uld.
Yeah, it's the Goa'uld. It's the Goa'uld opulence. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're not really guarding anything or really worried about anyone coming on. I mean, think about it. The gate's not guarded. The ship's not really guarded. It's like, no one's gonna.
And it's
they just don't. They don't
no one snuck on the planet before we entered hyperspace, and
yeah, I mean, but from their perspective, yeah, nobody would know the address or anything, and it's also a really good thing that like the Serpent Guard helmets have no peripheral vision because like they leave their night vision goggles, and I'm like, guys, you're worried about nothing. Like you can't see anything out of those helmets.
Yeah, that's.
What'd y'all think about the fact that they could dial? They have a gate. I mean, they have a Stargate on the ship.
I think it's cool.
That's a nice twist, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's they build a whole series around that later.
Well,
so.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But
now.
Yeah, and they set up the rules for that very nicely too. It's like you can dial out there and out if it's in orbit above a planet, as long as you know the point of origin for that planet. When it's in hyperspace, you can't dial to it because there's no point of origin or endpoint. So I thought that was very nicely done.
Yep.
Does there have to be like, and they didn't go into this in this episode at least, but like, could you give the ship its own point of origin and have it be like a floating symbol where, like, depending on where you are, that would change? Because I don't understand why it would have to be tied specifically to a planet.
If you had like 9 chevrons, you could probably do that.
Yeah. Well, I think the issue of being tied to a planet is more for dialing in to it, because it's got to be at a fixed point, or at least close enough to a fixed point. It makes sense that you can't dial in while the ship's under warp or hyperspace or whatever they call it, because the thing is moving so fast that by the time you got the thing dialed up, it's already past its point that it's dialing to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I like the way they showed us that. When I saw him, they're like, Daniel, send them out back through. I'm thinking,
nice.
Why? Right? But then they did that just so they could show that it works. And then 5 minutes later, it doesn't work.
It doesn't. Yep.
Well, also
so that was a nice.
Yeah. Also, so they're not leaving the moup like right there on the ship for the guards to find too. And so I thought that was a nice actual tactical thing there. We see far too few moups being sent back.
Yeah, I think they'll just get left. I think you just get left on the planets.
They're like Voyager shuttlecraft or something.
Yeah.
Just crank them out.
Yeah.
We also get when they stop the ship, I guess they don't have any inertial dampeners because everyone falls over except for Teal'c.
We'll start and stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice little way to show that the ship was taking off. Again, though, Teal'c's like, I didn't know what it was. Really?
Yeah. You knew what it was.
Yeah.
He's just feigning ignorance.
He just likes to build dramatic tension. Those Jaffa.
Indeed.
Nice.
Yeah. I also like how Daniel, as soon as they plant the bombs, Daniel's just like ready to go on that detonator. He's like, let's just blow it up right now.
Punch out. Let's go.
Yeah. I think he's just kind of done with everything.
Yeah.
But he has witnessed everyone he knows die and the Earth get destroyed. So he does have a sense of urgency that everyone else probably doesn't have.
Right.
Good point. Yeah. He knows how bad it's about to get.
Right. And I do find it funny, just going back to politics a bit, but the fact that you have the senator there and Lieutenant Samuels, and
Colonel
they
Samuels.
Are so Colonel Samuels.
Yep.
They are so like blasé about like an interdimension or a wormhole portal that you can just access. Like that, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's no amount of awe in the technology, which I feel like you would actually encounter people like that in the government.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, he's a politician, and his concern is money, how the fiscal responsibility, which is fine and all that, and oversight for black organizations and top secret missions. That's fine, but it's like, I'm sorry, if I found out there was a Stargate and I got to go see it, I'd be like, cool, can I go through?
Yeah, I think it's part of his nature as an officious, bureaucrat there. But we do get a sympathetic president, I think, later on who's more interested in the program.
Did anyone think it was interesting that Kinsey was sitting there and telling the military, "Don't worry, you can beat the Gould. You have enough technology." And then military members are like, who've actually interacted with the Gould, say, "No, we can't."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, yes, you can.
Our military can handle it. How dare you doubt our military to these military members?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in defense, he may have been sold that by Colonel Samuels, who we'll see in the next episode, may have actually believed that.
Yep.
Yeah, he just gets slimier and slimier.
Hadn't he?
Yeah. We'll get to that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And there is some nice reveals here. Skara, is there, and then the big twist, which they kind of like spoil and then don't comment on it, which is like Lieutenant Airman Harriman, whatever, says, "Oh yeah, we're reporting 2 blips," and up until this point in the episode, you're like, okay, there's 1 ship. What's the second blip? And then they just leave that there, and then at the end. When they do that, pretty cool for the time and for the budget pullback from the Peltac, and you see the ship, and then they pan around, and there's a second ship right there. That's a pretty cool reveal there.
Something else I read about this episode was that Scar was supposed to die. Chlorel. When Jack shot him, he was supposed to die.
That was supposed to be the end of his story.
Turn on office light.
Yeah. And that the fan reaction was so intense.
Yeah.
That they,
they brought him back.
Don't.
Right, because the way it's played is like it's a finality for him, and the point being that Jack had to do that, even though he's kind of viewed him as kind of an adoptive son almost.
Yep.
But yeah, I like the back and forth with his character, like the internal struggle within between Skara and Chlorel. So I'm hoping we see more of that paid off in the future.
Yeah. Well, it's
we run into Skara at least a few more times.
Yeah, I can't remember how often, but we do see him again. And it is nice that they're really showing not just what they've told, but they're really showing the fact that the host can fight back against the Gould parasite. It's hard, but you can do it. So, I mean, and that's something that obviously comes into play later as well.
Yeah, because Jack stuns him with the Zat gun, and that brings Skara to the surface for a little bit. And it's good to see that. I do also find it funny that Teal'c doesn't seem overly concerned with the mission. Like I guess he's just stoic, but it almost seems like he's just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna hang out here and see what happens.
Yeah. That's Teal'c.
Yeah, at least until someone threatens to remove his primta, which sounds pretty painful to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Removing my primta.
Just peel it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that I hadn't really thought about that, but that is something that would be implanted there, and it's not like a biological feature.
Yeah, it is and it isn't, because I mean they can you can just like whip it out at will, and share it with somebody, but then in order to, I guess, remove it permanently, they have to use a special knife or something. It's
the most painful way to die.
Yeah. I'll take their word for it on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad that's not something I have to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I looked. We only see Scar one more time.
No
wow.
way. We don't see him on Abydos at the end of season 8?
No, it says he's mentioned in season 8, but we don't see him. I know.
They come up with like a Scar replacement or something for that episode. But that's, okay.
I know. I was kind of surprised. That season 3 is the last time we see him. After season 2. You know?
Yeah.
We're not quite done yet.
Do we see him multiple times in season 2?
No. I know.
No, he is in Full Circle.
Oh, you know what? I clicked on
Season
Chlorel.
6.
Evidently, they've separated him out, Scar versus Chlorel. So
nice.
when you have to look at both of them. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no problem.
We see him in season 3, season 6, and then he's mentioned in season 8. Sorry.
Nice. It's good
I was
to know.
thinking more than that.
Yeah.
And then Full Circle at the very end, right?
Yeah, Full Circle is season 6, I think.
Season 6.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I think we can we'll cut it off here. Be sure to join us next week when we'll be talking about the Serpent's Lair. Before we go, I'd like to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including Colin M, Ann S, GR, Peter G, and Daphne M. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Be sure to follow the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. To find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. You can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. You can also join the StarQuest fan club mailing list by texting StarQuest to 66866. Send StarQuest to 66866. We'll be back next time. We'll be picking up this discussion of the first season, or the first episode of the second season of SG-1, The Serpent's Lair. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the Secrets of Stargate.
Thank you, Jack.
Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack.
And once again, I'm Jack Baruzzini. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?